Hi, welcome back to the channel and to another one of our Riviera challenge videos in which we're attempting to drive the whole of the French Riviera in a Citroën Ami. Today we're headed to the medieval village of Villeneuve Loubet and to the home of French gastronomy, because in Villeneuve Loubet there is the house of Auguste Escoffier and we're going to take you there. So fasten up your apron and let's get going. So we are headed towards Villeneuve Loubet and to the home of Auguste Escoffier. Now, Auguste Escoffier, you may not think you know a lot about, but I will guarantee that you know many of the places and the dishes that he created, because Escoffier was in many ways the godfather of modern French gastronomy, wasn't he, Mr. Boo?
It's true.
And he played a fundamental role in the creation of the Ritz in Paris and the Ritz in London and the Carlton Hotel, and he played a big part in Richard D'Oyly Carte at the Savoys, the creation of the great Savoy Hotel. And there was a big scandal, wasn't there, Mr. Boo?
You love a scandal. There
was a big scandal at the Savoy, which we're going to tell you about when we get to Villeneuve Loubet. And when we visited his house, do you know what I've got planned?
What?
We're going to find his grave!
Oh. So here's the car park. Right. So we're looking to get into it. There is a charger in here somewhere.
Oui? C'est bon? I think she wants a Citroën Ami, that lady. Did you notice?
I know.
She asked if we were content. Even I know what that means. I've never been content in my life.
I can see a charger.
Where?
Left.
Ah, it's a whiz. I'm gonna have a whiz. So, Mr. Boo, have you got any top tips as to where we're gonna go for lunch?
I don't know. There's the place we went before with the giant couscous.
Yeah.
There's something called like Son of the Butcher.
Son of the Butcher?
Yeah.
That like fit as a butcher's dog?
Yeah. Sounds meaty.
Meaty, yes.
There's a little bulldrome. Is this for bulls or for snack?
Oh, is this a Bulls Club? We quite like dining in Bulls Clubs sometimes because they're very reasonable, and sometimes it's really good, honest home cooking. Sometimes it's really not, but I think it looks a bit more snacky rather than a full lunch, so I think we'll pass. But they do rum and raisin ice cream. Mr. Boo's right. Let's see if we can find the Son of the Butcher. Very busy. Definitely the most popular. Is there an inside? Because I'll freeze out here. Bonjour. Avez-vous une table for this? No. Complet? Oh. There'll be no me and Mon Ami review for Son of the Butcher, will there?
No.
Oh well.
Mistake. Huge.
Clearly doesn't need the recommendations. What's up here? Tarte de bœuf, plat de jour. That looks pork. Provençal, wok de poulet. I think this looks okay, don't you? I got a nice Labrador.
Alors pour moi le tartare de bœuf.
Italien ou traditionnel?
Et pour moi, foie de veau, s'il vous plaît. Give it a try, Mr. Boo.
Looks good. It's a nice big portion. I can see gherkins.
Gherkins. Nice.
Nice, very nice. And the chips are epic.
Can I try one?
Sneaky.
Oh, those chips are absolutely fantastic. Anyway, let's try the foie de veau. Lovely. Perfectly cooked.
Show us how pink it is.
Very, very pink. I think foie de veau needs to kind of melt inside, so it's like pate. And it does melt in the mouth. And then classic French curry potato. Nice. Nice. Very simple. Like the jour. Very good. Well, there you go. That was very nice, wasn't it?
That was really nice.
Very friendly, very simple, and very, very cheap. I think that's the cheapest lunch we've had. Anyway, folks, it's now time to head to the ESCOFFIER Museum.
I got you an audio guide. You press the number.
Yeah.
Like number 5.
Oh yeah, it's
And then
like
you
that.
press play.
And it tells you what's happening at number 5 point.
Clever.
I'm good at that.
5 tells us the date that the Fondation Auguste is.
What's this, Mr. Boo?
It's called a niçoise, and it was used to make fish soup or to crush up the bones and things. It's like a big sieve with a pestle mortary thing. It's like a hammer. I want to touch it, but I don't want to touch it.
Oh wow. So is this the actual spit that was in this house that they used?
Yeah, this was the family's fireplace.
This is because that's how he began his career, because he was a rotisserie chef, aged I think 19, 20. And I think he went to work at a restaurant called the Restaurant Français in Nice. And then he went on to open his own restaurant in Cannes, which was Golden Pheasant, something like that.
Yeah.
But this is how he started. It was as a rotisserie chef, and of course there's still a fantastic tradition of rotisseries in France with poulet and pork and the potatoes down here in the bottom, absolutely delicious and not remotely calorific.
A peach melba, which is one of the dishes that he created.
And was that in honour of Nellie Melba?
Yeah, in honour of Nellie Melba.
Dame Nellie.
Dame Nellie.
You can literally smell the chocolate in this room. It's fantastic. I love these early sort of pressure cookers. And of course these things now, what are they called?
Kitchen robots.
Kitchen robots, and they're about 1,500 quid. What's in this room?
This is the menu room.
For Sean Connery here. The interesting thing about ESCOFFIER as well is how much time he spent in the army, including 5 years he was stationed, I think, in the military in Villefranche, wasn't he? But it was this military background of cooking within the army that gave him the idea of coming up with a sort of a kitchen which was regimented, which had order and discipline, in which there were clear stratas of responsibility, because up to this point I think kitchens had been largely very wild, drunken, crazy places, and it was ESCOFFIER who really introduced a sort of much more ordered environment. And as far as I understand it, that many of the systems he brought in still exist to this day, with those different levels of chef and different levels of responsibility.
So this is a good little menu, another Christmas Day special. Christmas 1870.
Oh, I remember it well.
I bet. And during the Franco-Prussian War, there was no meat to be found, so the chefs had to go into the zoo in Paris and come up with something delicious for the bigwigs of Paris that year. Do you fancy an elephant soup?
No.
Yeah, elephant soup.
So they slaughtered the zoo?
Yeah, because there was no meat to be had.
And what else did they serve?
Well, there's a chameau rôti à l'anglaise, roasted camel, English style.
Oh, I give you the hump.
There's a bit of kangaroo, some kind of bare ribs rather than spare ribs, and I think this is definitely for you. Cat. Cat.
Shen.
Sha.
Sha. Oh yeah, Sha. Shen's dog in it.
Cat served with rats.
No.
Cat served with rats.
That's hilarious.
So in here they're saying that he was an early feminist because him and Ritz said that women were allowed to come into the restaurant.
What have you spotted, Mr. Boo?
Well, it's not a nativity creche.
An animated creche.
It's not an animated creche. It's a 1/10th scale replica of Maxime's in Paris. Look.
What's intriguing, you know, about Escoffier is this, the period of his life which is sort of become scandalous. Because, you know, he was very successful. He is taken by César Ritz, isn't he, to London, and they make along with Richard Doyley-Carte, they make the Savoy this huge success. But then the management of the Savoy become rather miffed as to what is happening to their takings, don't they? Because whilst the customers are going, the numbers are going up, the money's going down. And they put a team of private investigators to try and work out what is happening. And it seems that what was in fact happening was that basically Mr. Escoffier and his partners were taking backhanders. They were taking backhanders from suppliers. And the way they were trying to cover this up was by, for example, if the egg supplier delivered 500 or was meant to deliver 500 eggs, he would only actually deliver 450. And so the 50 eggs Mr. Escoffier put in his pocket. I mean, not literally, otherwise it'd have been messy, wouldn't it? But anyway, at the time, they were accused of embezzling, I think it was £7,000, which was an absolute fortune. And I think Escoffier maintained that he only had £500, and he managed to pay them off, and I think the case never actually came to court. But at the time this happened, Escoffier was already, I think, on his way out of the Savoy, wasn't he? And he already had plans to go and do the Ritz Paris with César Ritz, and then later the Ritz in London. So whether those ventures were actually directly funded by extras or not, we shall probably never know. But it's an interesting chapter of the story that I haven't seen in the museum. But I think there's no doubt that Escoffier was a very, very great man and was loved by very many people and left behind a wonderful, wonderful legacy that I don't think should really be obscured by this naughty egg action that came at one period in his life.
Now this is a space dedicated to young chefs, but actually it's really useful for you because it's got all these French phrases that involve food.
But I know them all.
Yeah, marcher sur les œufs.
Oh yeah, something that's marché for eggs.
No, it's to walk on eggshells.
Oh, I haven't got my glasses on. Cut the pear in two, and what's the expression?
To meet halfway.
Ah, c'est la cerise sur le gâteau. It's the radish on the gâteau. No. Strawberry.
Cherry.
Cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the icing on the cake.
Mr. Goose broken his audio guide. Oh yeah, I've had that in Egypt, have the banana. When we went to Banana Island, I mean.
Oh yeah, that's what you mean. And what does it mean to have the banana?
It means I want a big banana.
It means to have a happy smile.
Exactly, Banana Island.
No.
Never pure and radish. I haven't got any more radishes.
There's no tin cupboard, I don't know.
Yeah, not to have a penny left.
Yeah, I'm getting the hang of this now.
Yeah.
Fall in the apples.
Yeah, which means to faint.
Not sure my fig, me raisin. Sounds like Ali G. Me bitch. But can we now clamber up this hill, Mr. Boo, and try and find the family Escoffier tomb? Because I think Mr. Escoffier is actually buried here.
Yeah.
You like a graveyard, don't you?
I love a graveyard. This is a nice, relaxing walk.
This is a monumental climb, even by our standards. There'll be a good view, Mr. Boo. There's always a good view from a French cemetery. Ooh, glad I had that veal liver for my lunch. Look, there's the turning. Église Chateau. Oh, left or right?
Right.
Right, oh. Okay. I can't believe you dragged me to this cemetery.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall and the gumption.
Oh dear. Yeah, there'll be a good view though, Mr. Boo. There's always a good view from a French cemetery. Mr. Boo's top tip. Let's have a quick check of the church, Mr. Boo. Oh. I love that chapelle. Isn't it fantastic? Can we go in? Oh, open gate. A bit locked up, doesn't it? No, shut. There's a letterbox so you can put your pool's curtain through. Let's try this side because I think they look older on this side. So, where is Mr. Escoffier? I've seen it already. Yes, get in! Victory for Mr. Boo. Famille Escoffier d'Affice. There is the plaque for Auguste Escoffier. Legend d'honneur, yeah, he was given a Legend d'honneur, I think about 1928. He died, I think, in Monte Carlo. So that was the Escoffier Museum and Villeneuve Loubet. It's a lovely, lovely place, but you somehow feel slightly that maybe people pass by and go to other village perchés and places like Saint-Paul-de-Vence, etc., and they sort of don't think of coming to Villeneuve Loubet. I mean, you know, we were the only people on this Wednesday afternoon in the Escoffier Museum. And if you've got any interest at all in cooking, the history of cooking, and of course social history, because menus tell you an awful lot about the times in which people lived, the way in which they lived, then it's absolutely well worth a visit. Thanks for all your likes, thanks for all your coffees. We will see you on the next one. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.